Welcome. Tonight's program will dive deep into fringe knowledge of lost, hidden, and suppressed truths about the nature of our reality. The decoding process can be uncomfortable and at times frightening. However, you are not alone on this journey of understanding. Welcome to the Shadow Bank Podcast.
I saw it.
What's going on, man?
Chilling like Bob Dylan, bro. I was just laying here comfortable. Oh, let me fix the pillows. I was all crashed out here, getting consumed by the social medias, videos, you know.
Letting it drain you of your life source.
Yes, man. Sucking the loosh, bro. What's up, brother?
Not a whole lot. Need a haircut. Crap's looking crazy. Green screen's kind of showing right through it.
You could just do like me, bro, and shave your head.
Part of me wants to. But I look ugly.
Jeremy said it better be a good episode or he's becoming an anti-conspiracy theorist.
Well, I mean, we can open with some heat. So, do you remember in the last, I think it was the last episode, I was saying about Obama's birth certificate. You can take the PDF download that they give to you that you can look at, public record, and take it into Adobe Illustrator and then take it apart.
Yeah.
They've done it again.
Oh,
So you're not going to be able to hear this. You're not going to be able to hear this, but I'll tell you what's happening. Let me get a quick screen share and let me preamble on this a minute. So the U.S. government released the Jeffrey Epstein cell footage, whatever, the door with the minute missing. It is public record, whatever. It's free to the public. You can just go download it off of the whatever they released. So this guy, this young fella, decided to go in and he's going to go in and show that this video, the uncut one, was edited in Adobe Premiere. So he's going to the actual release document. There's a link to the video. It is edited, and this is the unedited link, or the raw one. So he downloads it, and there it is, downloaded. And then he brings up like a metadata in the terminal, puts the video in, and it pulls all of the metadata in there. And you could see right there in the middle, Adobe Media Encoder, which means it was saved in Premiere. So he's showing it right there. And those are all of the saves that are there. There's like a 29 FPS, 20, 30, frame drop, a couple other frame drops in there. He shows that right here, he's showing like a spam of saves, like when you hit Control S a few times to make sure that you save. And then he's just going over some other time stampings here, and just showing that this is like just somebody who doesn't save enough, but then spammed it at one point. And yeah, so, and then the guy's name is even in there.
Like his
Adobe name is in there. Dude, it's hilarious. So yeah, we do not have an actual, and this is from 5/23, so May 23rd, it looks like was the day it was like last edited or whatever the most recent save on it is. So yeah, we do not have a raw uncut. So that's cool.
Babe, hit grid on the thing. Whoa, what the hell?
What happened? Oh, did I just exit out and I'm still sharing that screen?
I only see you.
Yeah, we only see you.
but the stream sees both of us.
Okay.
That's fine. Whatever.
Well, so
Well, there it is, guys. Listen, I'm not gonna
Lies.
lie, dude. My whole algorithm has just been Epstein for like a week straight, 10 days straight now. And
you're
you
still
know,
talking about this guy?
I'm just not. I should be more interested in this, right? Because of what it is and what we've talked about many a time before. But to be honest with you, man, I just feel like this is a big psyop. And here's the thing, man. All of the big media organizations like Fox, CNN, right? All your lamestream media. On top of that, all your biggest influencers, right? Like Tim Pool, just all these guys. They're all on this every day, bro. And that just tells me it's a psyop, dude. Right? Like it's gotta be a psyop. I don't know what the psyop is yet, right? Like it's gonna take some time to like get to some kind of conclusion on this whole thing. But I can tell you right now, it's a distraction from something.
We stopped talking about the bombing that we just did in Iran, dude. We're on the brink of World War III, and then they just like fumble one of the biggest conspiracy theories out there, and then all of a sudden that's what everybody's talking about instead of World War III.
I almost wonder, man, I'm going to go back and forth. People are going to hate me for this, right? But maybe it is some like 4D chess maneuvers, right? Because, if you go back a couple of years, man, like the whole Epstein thing, Epstein didn't kill himself, like the whole thing was a conspiracy theory. Now, all the people who were saying it was a conspiracy theory are saying, wait a minute, where's the files? How come you dropped the ball on this? Like the whole MAGA movement's like disintegrating, it's like this whole thing is happening. And they were all people who were like, no. There's nothing to see here. So is that the 4D chess maneuver? Like to get the people who denied that the Epstein thing was even a thing, now they're out like in the public, like, we want the truth,
This could be. You could be right. This could be a crazy 4D chess move where, like, there is a list, and the administration is being completely lied to by the FBI, the deep state, whatever, and it's gonna come out. It's gonna get released. Ghislaine Maxwell is gonna testify before Congress or something, or the Supreme Court, or whatever. Elon's gonna release the data. Something's going to happen, and it's going to completely undermine everything that Trump is and his administration is doing. There's no vice presidency out of that cabinet. There's nothing. He's done. It's over. There's no Don Jr. There's no Republican candidate, period. There's no MAGA anybody getting in office if it comes out that this was a lie. That you know what I mean? If the FBI was covering something up, could be some heinous, absolutely diabolical James Comey getting him back for getting him kicked out of the FBI.
For sure, man. But I think my biggest thing is still, and it has been for the longest time, even though like I question these 4D chess moves and stuff, like maybe, right? Like it's interesting to think about that possibility. But I still will hold on to it'll never come. The truth will never come out, and it's not because the politicians. I was talking to my buddy today. He was like, "Yeah, because all the politicians, man, they're all going to get named. That's why they can't drop it." No. That would be a big deal. But the bigger deal is the scientists that were on that list, that were blackmailed. That
The
you got to
business
really
owners, the investors.
You got to think, man, like especially we talked about this in the height of COVID, right? When all the experts were coming out and they were like, hey, this and that, and like you got to trust the experts and all this stuff, right? Most of those experts, bro, right? Most of the heads, at NIH or the WHO, all those people, man, not all of them, but like the top dogs in there, they were honeypotted. Right. And that's the big thing that they can't let out. Like, forget the politicians, bro. Politicians come and go. Right. but when you realize that, hey man, like the foundations of our society from like a scientific perspective, right? Like gravity, right? Like viruses, like
Psychology.
psychology, all of these things that we just like take for granted as like, oh, they figured it out, right? Like that's the truth. Trust the experts. Like when that crumbles, like chaos ensues,
Yeah.
That's
That's
the
how you
thing.
get sent back to the Stone Age.
Yeah, that's the
That's the
thing. I think
preservation.
they're more worried about that coming out, like space is fake, right? Like all of the NASA and the world space agencies, all those people that are telling us that we're in a speck in the middle of infinite nothingness, and there's nothing else out there. Like, oh, by the way, those people were honeypotted too, right? Like that's what I think they're trying to hide.
I mean, they were there. They're on the flight logs. We at least got flight logs. We don't have clients, but we do have flight logs. So
Yeah.
what that leads you to assume is that flight logs are probably pretty synonymous with client list.
Yeah.
They're not releasing the client list to go, oh, okay, yeah, all these people who were on the planes, not on the client list. We're not on the client list. So it just leaves it up to us to go, But yeah, I think, they did have a lot of scientists on there, a lot of physicists, a lot of big, like not angel investors, but like investors, these like billionaire guys that are just coming in there.
Philanthropists
Yeah,
and
a lot of
stuff.
philanthropist guys, a lot of
Yeah.
people that make money disappear.
Yeah. Yeah.
A
I
lot
think
of
that
people that make
that
money disappear.
listen, man, I'll always go back to it. We don't talk about it very much on the show, whether it's flat earth or space is fake and gay or whatever the case is. I truly don't believe what we've been told about, the universe as a whole, right? Or the earth as a whole. Like, I don't believe it. I think there's just too many questions that are just unanswered, or we're just given the, hey, just trust us, man, like we figured it out, bro, right? There's too much of that going on, and I really think that that's like the biggest secret that they're really trying to keep from us. It's not Donald Trump this or Joe Biden that, or NGOs this or any of that stuff. Those are secrets too, right? Those are important to keep, but the real important secrets are like, hey man, like it's not this like universe of scarcity that they present to us.
Yeah, there's definitely not the scarcity that we get pitched all the time. Also, yeah, nobody looks up anymore.
Yeah.
We're constantly here. We're in this portal here when we're not looking out at the portal there.
You can't even
You can't see the sky.
with the damn light pollution and all that. Like there's, and then you throw on top of that all the stuff that they're throwing up into the sky, right? Like I'm not going to say that they're putting satellites in space because we've already gone through this. Space goes, the atmosphere extends far, far out there. So, but they
Near
are
Earth
putting,
orbit.
yeah, they're putting stuff in like near Earth orbit, if you will, right? And like that's, flubbing up people looking up in the sky. It's happened to me, right? I've looked up before and I saw the line of lights go by and I'm like, "Ugh," and then I realized like, oh no, those are the Starlink satellites, and it's like
Take me.
they're just, they're messing with it all, man. And I think that's the biggest secret that they're trying to keep.
Well, I saw this animation. I don't know if I saved it, but it's basically like 19 whatever when they put the first satellite up or the first couple satellites up, and basically it's like it's way bigger than what an actual satellite is, but it's like Earth, right? And then it's got the satellite going around it with like an orange little trail so you can see the path. And then it's got 2, and then it's got 3. And then as the years go on, the years see just ticking, and it's like 50, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100. Like there's so, and then you can't even see the Earth anymore because of all the trails and stuff. Now it's not accurate. The satellites are nowhere near as big as the trails are, or whatever. But the point is that there are so many satellites and other things orbiting the Earth constantly with like this mesh network it creates of like the whole Earth is just being bombarded with these waves
Yeah.
going back and forth. Just the stuff that, like that energy, whatever that is, it doesn't end. It doesn't go away.
Right.
Right? You think about like them blasting radio waves out into the universe and trying to get it picked up somewhere. It doesn't dissipate. That energy doesn't stop. They send that boop, whatever that signal is, that light wave out, it goes. It doesn't stop. It doesn't lose energy. It just goes until it's absorbed somewhere. So it's like you think about all the stuff we emit, and then these things are catching all of that and sending it right back down. Or normally it would just go out. I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, but we don't think about it
Yeah.
because we're distracted all the time.
Yeah, man. And now we're distracted with the Epstein files thing.
We're distracted with the Epstein files, man. And meanwhile, you could be investing in Caterpillar. You could be investing in some of these other companies that are like got these huge contracts to go build Ukraine, and you'd be getting rich.
That's what I need to do, man.
You'd be
That's
getting
what I
rich.
need to
That's
do.
what they do. That's
Yeah,
what they
I
do.
know, bro. I'm just
They're
I've
like,
I just been one track focused in my investing lately, you know, but I do need to like branch out into that, like some of these like mineral, like these mining companies and stuff, you know, that I gotta really dig into that, you know. Not that the fiat dollars are really worth anything, bro, but like,
but if it makes you extra fiat dollars to put into the bitcoins,
you know, I guess that's the move.
that's the move, dude.
That's the move.
Multiply your monopoly money, trade it in for digital money.
Speaking of Bitcoin, everybody loves this part of the show. Last week we did an episode. Bitcoin was at like 102,000 or something, I think. Went up to 122, 123,000 in like 3 days, bro.
Yeah,
Get
it's because us,
wrecked.
dude. It's because us.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, come on. Yeah.
We should be sponsored by Bitcoin.
You know, what it does is it's telling you that the dollar's going to zero, bro. That's all that means. The dollars are getting worth less, right? That's all it is, man. So, you know, I know a lot of people that are just like on a hunt. They're on a grind. They're just hyper focused on like the dollars, you know, like gotta get more dollars. I mean, that's everybody in the world, right? But, dude, you guys are just getting rug pulled. You don't even see it.
The ultimate rug pull, bro. And you know what's interesting though? A lot of people are criticizing Trump over what he was saying about the Epstein thing, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are still talking about this?" But I think that's the only redeeming piece of what he is like. That's kind of what we're saying. Like, we're still talking about this.
Yeah.
Okay, so there were some guys on a list. Okay, we know people will do bad stuff. Now we have names to them. What are you going to do about it? Nothing.
You're not going to do anything, but I think that's
You're not doing nothing.
I think that's part of the psyop too, right? Is all these people that are like up in arms and furious about them dropping the ball on this, right? They're not thinking about what I just told you with the scientists. That's not what they're thinking about. They're thinking about like, is Joe Biden or Hunter Biden on the list? Is Trump on the list? Like that, everybody's still stuck in their little echo chambers, right? And they're just like, they want to see that the guy that they hate is on the list to prove them right?
Yeah.
But nobody's like thinking, you know, the second layer, third layer of like the people that are probably on the list, you know?
Yeah, guys that went over there, and they're like, "Look, we want you to talk about Higgs boson, and just
Right.
make some stuff up, so that way we can make it seem like the universe is infinite, because the James Webb Telescope just went into space, and it sees the end of it. So we need to come up with background radiation or something." Okay.
Yep.
It's like,
Yep.
no, I could never do that. I could never betray the scientist's oath. Okay, well, here's a couple 14-year-olds. Now you can.
Yeah. Have a nice tall glass of adrenochrome, brother. You
Yeah.
know?
Live till you're 140. All right? And now get
Yeah.
out there and talk about background radiation.
Listen, all that stuff went away real quick, man. I'm just saying, I think who said it in here? The more mentioned Pizzagate, just that word might get us banned. But all of that went away. You ever think about that? Like all the adrenochrome and the harvesting and the sacrifices and all that like real dark stuff, right? All that went away.
For pedophiles.
Yeah, nobody talks or thinks about that anymore. Everybody's, like I said, everybody's, the people who were questioning that back in the day, like they've been moved back up to or down to, base layer reality stuff, right? Like, again, who on the blue team's on the list? Who on the red team's on the list? And it's like, bro, what happened to like all of the people who are really asking the questions? Like, dude, what's up with like the royal family, the bloodlines, and the all that like spooky stuff, right? That's the thing, man. Even if they came out and they released all the information that they have on Epstein and all that stuff, they're still not going to release the information on the underground dungeons, in the freaking harvesting ceremonies, right? Like,
Yeah, they're gonna be like, here's the list, here's the clients, a couple, some people are on there. They're not gonna talk about the sacrifices. They're not gonna
right.
talk about what happened in his temple.
Yeah. I think that's why I'm kind of tuned out to it, because I know that even if they wake up tomorrow and they're like, just put it out there, right? Even if Elon like data dumps all this stuff, like that stuff's not going to be there.
Yeah, there's no. What was the transaction for a human sacrifice? No, it's like
Exactly.
there's thousands of people that he trafficked. Where are they?
You ever look,
Thousands,
you ever look at the number of people who are missing every year?
dude. It's unbelievable how many people like there's like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and
Hundreds
thousands
of
of people
thousands of people. I think
just
I
go
read one
missing.
time it was like 1 million people a year. Like
Really?
globally.
That
Like
much?
like globally.
Look it up. How many people go missing per year? That's crazy, dude. I thought it was in the tens of
Go
thousands.
look up how many people go missing globally in a year. Now, some of those people get found, right? But the number's so astronomical. I'm pretty sure it's like 1 million people just disappear.
Dude, in the United States alone, 600,000
Okay, so we're over a
per
million people globally.
year.
Yeah,
It doesn't even say a number, it just says millions of people.
millions of people.
Dude,
So even if 50% of them get found, you're still millions of people, right? Like,
They said every 90 seconds in London alone, or in England alone, someone goes missing. So think about that, because that's a tiny little place.
yeah, tiny little place.
But it says the U.S. over 600,000 people are reported missing annually, with a net loss of tens of thousands each year. So tens of thousands of that are definitely not being.
And those are the numbers we're given. I don't know if you guys heard Crystal on the mic here. Just in the U.S., 600,000 people a year go missing, and what was it? A net loss of 10 to 20%? Is that what you said?
Actual wording, and net loss.
Net loss. That's a weird way to fucking frame that. Like, there's a net loss. Couple tens of thousands of people just don't ever get found, brother.
bro, the population of Washington, D.C. is 600,000. Las Vegas, 600,000. That's Vegas disappearing every year. Bro, that's insane, bro. Oh my God.
Where are they going, dude? I'm telling you, they're
Holy
going to the
crap.
harvesting centers. We talked about this on like the 3rd episode, I think. We were talking about the Clone Wars. I think it was the Clone Wars episode. It was like episode 3 that we ever did. And I had brought up like the baby factories thing. And I remember
Yeah.
specifically, I remember you and Jade were like, what? No
That
way.
bummed me out.
Right? And then you were in the background, you're like, right? And then me and Jay kept talking, and you were like, bro. And then you pulled up the thing, and it literally showed that there are literal factories where women are held captive and forced to give birth to babies that they didn't even want, right? Like, just, I don't know how they're doing it. I could use my imagination, I guess, right? But they're just pumping out babies in baby factories, and they're like dishing them out. Bro, there's a whole market for this, bro. Call it adrenochrome, call it whatever you want, bro. I don't know if it's like spiritual, sacrificial stuff or tab. I don't know. It's probably all of it. But like, you couple that, the baby factories thing, with the millions of people who go missing every year, bro. There's probably like 5 to 10 million people a year that are just victims of the whole like dark thing that's happening, and it'll never come out, bro. Even if the list comes out, even if the Epstein list, they're never going to go that far.
No, I mean, he had a ranch that no one even is investigating. And I think there's a baby factory in the ranch.
Didn't like Bill Gates or somebody buy that ranch? Like somebody,
Bought real close to it.
some lawyer. Yeah, it was a lawyer that
was a lawyer.
represented somebody. Like,
Their
yeah,
ties.
yeah. There was connections. I remember that. Yeah.
But yeah, those baby factories, when we looked them up in Africa, that bummed me out for a long time. A really long time.
The Moore says we got to get her a mic. The fact finder chime in. Yeah, we need the fact finder chime in. Hey, listen, somebody shoot a mic over here. You know, I don't know. Send me a mic.
We'll
I'll
get a
plug
mic.
it in.
Yeah,
You
there's a lot of people. I mean, you take that and you couple that with how adrenocine's gone down. You can talk about the surveillance we have, dude. How's those 600,000 people missing in the U.S.? All the surveillance we have now, all the Ring camera doorbells and the lost my iPhone thing. You know what I mean? All the Apple tags and all, like, there's so much stuff. Your Apple Watch, your Fitbit, you could track anything.
Well, I think that's part.
600,000 people disappear without a device on them.
That's part of it, man. Like, no, they probably have devices on them, but the people on the back end, and again, not all of them. There's regular schmucks that work on the back end of those security programs and those cameras and stuff. But there's people that can backdoor that, right? And those people are like, just delete the metadata. You know, like the whole thing, man. It just goes so deep and it's so dark, really. You know, I'm guilty of this too. I don't even think that deep all the time about this kind of stuff, right? I get caught up in like base layer or even layer 2 conspiracies, right? Like, but we've on this show, and I've done it long enough to just, I can flip the switch. I can flip the switch and be like, no, dude, there's like 30 layers. And when you get to that 30th layer, that 33rd layer, right? Like, it's crazy to think about, like, they invented the internet, right? DARPA invented the internet, right? And then you get into like the symbology with like the apple, you know, from Apple, and like the bite out of the apple. And then you get into like the weird, like occult symbolism and stuff. And you're like, wait a minute, dude, there's gotta be some like back end shit that's going on. These people who are in a fucking death cult, right?
Of course, dude. I mean, you think there is the layers there, right? The apple, right? That's the Garden of Eden kind of deal, right? They bit the apple and there's a bite out of the apple, and it was knowledge, things you're not supposed to know, right? And it's going to make you like knowing good and evil, right? So the internet is that thing, right? You know everything. There's nothing off limits, and it's terrible, most of it. And everybody wishes they could put it back in the box. I think to some degree, can't put it back in the box. But does the parallel keep going? Because like the punishment for unleashing that was you lose paradise. And it's like,
well, that's what
stuff took a turn after the 80s.
Well, that's what the you know, listen, like the people that are in that death cult, right? Like the tops of the pyramid, right? Those people, those parasites, they know right now, however you frame it, whatever spiritual or religious like framework you want to put around that, right? Like I usually lean into like the Saturnalia, the Saturn death cult stuff, right? Like they are worshiping the golden age, right? The time before when it was like a paradise, right? You might frame it as like falling from grace, being removed from, you know what I mean? Like it's the same, it's the same like archetype. It's the same thing that's happening, right? No matter what angle you look at it from. But yes, they even know it. They literally worship the golden age, right? The time before.
Dude, I mean, so what is like the end goal for these like nihilistic, like what are they, accelerationists? They're like, yeah, dude, bring about the end.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, if you want to put it in like a
Or the
Christian
reset.
or yeah, if you want to put it in like a Christian frame or like, you know, that type of framework, you know, they're trying to bring back the light. They're trying to bring back the golden age, right? Like this is why this is why Lucifer is known as the morning star, the bringer of light, the bringer of knowledge, right? This is why people will assume that those Saturnalia death cult cultists are Satanists, right? Because there is like a connection there, right? Like real Satanists, not like the trendy like metalhead Satan, but like real Satanists, like they're trying to bring back, Lucifer, right? The bringer of knowledge.
Yeah.
This, you go a layer beyond that, the Saturn death cult people, right? They're worshiping the demiurge Yaldabaoth, this entity that thinks it's God, but it's not, right? It's the same, again, it's the same archetype, and that's what they're trying to do. So yes, they're what was the word you choose? Like
They're like
accelerations.
accelerationists.
Yeah, like I always say, like the prophecies will come true because they're making them come true.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah, 'cause it's like the same conversation with like AI when AI first like, oh, we got to pump the brakes on this. We got to pump the brakes on this. And everybody that was saying we got to pump the brakes on this is like, well, China's not pumping the brakes on this, so we need to put our foot on the gas. And it's like, wait, what? It's hey, everybody, very dangerous countries have nuclear weapons, so everybody needs to chill. It's like they might have them. Bomb the hell out of them. It's like, whoa, dude, why did we put it in friggin' sixth gear? Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? No, everybody needs to be chill with the money. We need to stabilize the dollar because we don't want CBDCs and the central and everybody looking into everything. And it's like, well, people are getting off the dollar. So let's buy so much Bitcoin. Let's get a Bitcoin reserve for the United States and let's just, it's like accelerationism at every turn. Nobody ever pumps the brakes. And it's like, you got to know that this leads to a reset at the least. Right?
100%, man. It's even interesting to me, just going back to the golden age thing. I mean, like that's been Donald Trump's fucking catchphrase this whole time. We're bringing back America's golden age, right? And he emphasizes golden age. And when you read articles or you read like press releases from the White House, golden age is always in full capital letters. Always, every time, right? So like all of these people know that this culty thing is happening. Like they are bringing about this great reset. Like they're on purpose. Like they are pushing for this new world order, right? And the funny thing about that is like the new world order that we all think we know about as conspiracy theorists, we've already been living in that. That new world order has been in existence for the last 80 years. We've already lived through that new world order. There's another new world order coming, right? And it's has to do with AI and robotics and complete fucking censorship and what's the other fucking word I'm looking for? Like surveillance, surveillance state, like all of that is coming. The last century of the New World Order was just the build up to it, right? It was just the laying the foundations, building the technology like the internet and all these things and the cameras and the fucking smart devices that we just carry, or the literal tracking devices that we just carry around on us all day. Like that was just the framework being laid so that when the Great Reset happens, like boom, everything's in place.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be different than I think anybody's anticipating because there's just too much potential. Nobody's really at war. Anybody could really bust out they could pull out the autonomous, AI is now sentient button. Anybody could at this point. Nobody really knows what anybody's cooking in the background on it. Anybody can just go, hey, we're fully digital now. Catch up.
Yep.
It's like the potential's out there for anybody. Whereas like in the past, it'd be like, well, no, it's obviously America's going to lead this, or the EU might, kind of team up with things, blah, blah, blah. But now it's kind of like there's just too many other players on the board. And with everything being digital, there's just like a few dudes could do this. Not to exclude the ladies, but, a few folks could just come up with something new and be like, all right, we're done. Just like Bitcoin, just some guy.
Yeah.
Or the CIA.
Right.
Or whatever, NSA. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I've been listening to this podcast. It's like they just do like these really like, I don't know, humorous overviews of these historical periods, and every one of them, after they have their golden age, it's garbage afterward. I don't like that because
It's garbage for
golden ages
us.
don't last that long.
Yeah, it's garbage for us. It's not garbage for the, the elites in the deep state, if you will, right? Because the deep state or the administrative, like that's existed for a long, 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 long time, right?
That's what's really interesting about these things. Like in France, they had like the Renaissance and all this kind of stuff, and it was like their golden age and everything's great. And then all of a sudden, they're chopping people's heads off in the street. They're elites, they storm the castle, they bring the king and queen out and just chop their head off right there in the street. It's like, but the line continues.
But those were just the useful idiots,
Well,
right?
they're
Like,
useful idiots, but they have other bloodline just queued up, ready to go.
right, exactly. That's the point, right? Is that like they'll throw away the elites that we know, right? Like we know their names, they're
Yeah.
useful idiots, right? It's the people behind them, right? The Wizard of Oz people, right? Behind the fucking curtain. They will literally bring the royals out, they'll bring the aristocrats out like in France, and they'll put them to the guillotine, right? And make everybody think that a revolution happened, right? For another reset. But in reality, behind the scenes, the fucking Saturn death cult people are still operating. They've
Yeah, dude.
always
Oh.
been.
So these guys were talking about Gaddafi, right? And they're like, Gaddafi would come in and be like, the aristocrats, the oligarchs, the current administration that are under him, like they're the ones that are causing all of these problems. I'm gonna kill them all and get them all out. And he gut the place, kill a whole bunch of people, and then he'd be like, all right, we're gonna bring in some new people, and it's gonna be chosen by you. Wasn't really chosen by them, but it's like it's just gonna be a led by the people. It was never led by the people, but there's just this big show, and it would still be him and his cronies that were just running everything, but they publicly execute so many people and be like, this guy was doing this corruption and it looks like a great thing, and it's gonna be liberation, it's gonna be everything, and bringing this just another group of people,
Yeah.
same
Well,
deal, and everybody's
look,
like,
look at Caesar, right? Like Caesar is a good example of this. The other aristocrats, the other elites, right? They assassinated Caesar, right? And then Rome ends up falling and collapsing, and everybody thinks Rome went away. It didn't. It just transitioned into the new world order, right? We use the same symbology as the Romans, the eagle, right? All the fucking symbols. We even use like a lot of the same systems and structures in our government, right? All that kind of stuff that the Romans did.
Senates and republics.
Exactly, right? So like it's another example. That goes back further than that even too, but like, that's the furthest back I can think of just off the top of my head, right? Like
Well, yeah.
they got rid of Caesar. Oh, everybody was like, fuck yeah, fuck Caesar, right? He was a dickhead. We'll replace him with this new thing. And then like the system collapses, Rome falls, but then
But
you
it's
have
exported everywhere.
it's exported everywhere. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Right.
And literally, like the bloodline thing that you were saying is like, they were doing another thing talking about like England, and then like England and Russia and France all at the same time had the same family running. So like Queen Victoria or whatever, one of her nieces was a czar in Russia, and then one of their cousins was the king or whatever down in France. And it's like, you're all English? How is this possible? And then they'd be at war with each other for some reason, for no reason. Like, and then you got dudes assassinating Ferdinand and do all this stuff, and then but they're like, this guy was related to this one, and this was related to this person, and these people, it's all the same family, and it just keeps staying the same family. And you're like, oh my gosh, dude,
And it's
these
like that-
bloodline things are real.
It's like that little girl that did that school project and found that like almost every president is related to each other from like,
Yes, dude.
it's the same thing, dude. It's the
It's-
same thing, dude.
it's kind of crazy. And then to your point, it's like, we're not doing anything.
No.
So freaking game the system.
Yeah, they'll let us think that we're doing like some revolutionary shit, like they'll let us think that, oh, there's a revolution, right? The people are waking up, like we're not taking this shit anymore. Like they let us think that that's happening, but it's not, dude. Like you said before, they could just flip a switch. Like one event. I think honestly, man, we are one event. I think they got like a list of probably like 100 events in the chamber, right? That they could use to like catalyze this great reset that they've been talking about for the last couple decades, right?
Take your pick, dude.
Take your pick, man. I think that it just comes down to like they just got to draw it out of the fucking hat and be like, oh, nuclear fucking war, or oh, fucking alien invasion, or oh, fucking climate change, or oh, fucking global pandemic, or oh, the fucking internet goes out, or oh, a solar flare. Like they just have so many things that they could just pick one, and when that event happens, that black swan event, that real black swan event, not these ones that motherfuckers been talking about all these things, but like the real one hits, and boom, like everything is gonna change really quick, dude.
Yeah,
Really
dude,
quick.
there was a video I was watching of this lady, and she was explaining that, like, in the event of a nuclear holocaust, there is a few places, and there's very few of them on Earth, that if every country got nuked to, like, absolutely trash, that there's only, like, 2 or 3 spots on the globe where you can still, like, hunter-gatherer style, get crops going. It's Australia and New Zealand. There's a couple spots there. And then she's like, guess where all these billionaires have tons of property? Those specific spots. And then the next couple videos right after that was one we were talking about a little bit last week with when all the floodwaters rise, and if the entire U.S. was flooded, there's a few high points. Billionaires also bought those. If all the crop or we get cut off from our supplies, billionaires bought up all these croplands in the Midwest. They have all the contingencies. They got bunkers in Hawaii. They got bunkers in all over the place. It's like,
I don't even think that that's because, see, most people, base layer or layer 2 conspiracy people, will say like, oh, they're in on it, right? Like Bill Gates is in on the whole big picture. No. I think that some of those billionaires, they've just like they understand this stuff to a certain degree, right? Probably better
think
than
they
I do.
know that someone else could pull the freaking trigger at any moment.
Exactly. So they're hedging their bets, right?
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, maybe I should have a fucking underground city in all these various places. Maybe I should own some of this land. That way, like when the reset happens, maybe I'll get lucky.
Yeah.
And I won't be like, I won't end up like all the people in France that got beheaded, right? Like maybe I can make it through the big shift that's coming. I think that's what's really happening. It's not that they know.
That's what happens. That's how like Lenin gets back to Russia. He's like, oh, there's our sealed train car, and he just makes a freaking deal to get onto that train car back to Russia after Russia's collapsing. It's like these key moments where just somebody got out, somebody made it out, and then they're good. Same with freaking Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan's dad or whatever he's about to get murked on the side of the road from some marauder, and the mom is like, take off. There's no sense in both of us dying. He's here for me. Dude takes off and is able to like kind of raise Genghis from afar a little bit. And there's just like these little things where just like somebody just made it out, and then all of a sudden you get Genghis Khan wiping out a huge portion of the population. It's like just a couple of little moves, and then boom, you make it. Napoleon did the same thing. Like getting exiled to Pompeii or whatever it was, and he's like just makes it out.
Hitler.
Back to France. Takes over.
Hitler fucking dipped out right at the last second. Went to Argentina or wherever the fuck he went.
Freaking Colonia Dignidad.
Yeah, bro. And then probably Antarctica after that. Oh, dude, speaking of Antarctica, I'm going to shift gears here real quick, unless you got something else to throw on this.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so.
I love Antarctica.
Yeah, Antarctica's a fun one, bro. So I saw a clip today. It was Graham Hancock going off. And I remember seeing this like a few years back, but it's super interesting, man. We think that Antarctica has been frozen for millions of years, right? Like it's just been since the last ice age or whatever. And maybe that's the case. I don't know. But what he was talking about was these maps, these old maps, like the Perry Reese map, right? In the Perry Reese map, he took a bunch of old maps, older maps than that, right, that showed coastlines of Antarctica before, or excuse me, during the last ice age, right? So during the last ice age, all the water, the sea levels were lower, right? Because all of the 2 mile plus thick ice sheets all over the northern fucking continents and all this stuff, right? Well, there was land that was exposed that's not exposed now. And these maps show that. But then you get into like this is hidden history shit. They'll tell us, hey man, like people didn't really start exploring the oceans and shit until, I don't know, 3,000 years ago, right? About 3,000 years ago, whatever it was, the Polynesians or whoever, like they decided to like make seafaring vessels and like start exploring the oceans and mapping out coastlines and stuff. And that's just kind of like the accepted timeline, right? Well, then how do we have these fucking maps that were derived from older maps that show coastlines that were only exposed during the last ice age, 10,000, 12,000 years ago? That can mean only two possibilities. Number one, that human beings were traveling the seas 10, 12,000 years ago, and they were mapping shit, which you have to ask the question, how are they able to do this, right? Like latitude and longitude. Like there's no way to figure out longitude unless you have like a timekeeping device that can keep time during the motions of the ocean, right? This is why ships were always slamming into coastlines, because they didn't know the longitude that they were at up until like the 1800s or the late 1700s, right? So in the late 1700s, right, they figured out, how to calculate longitude. And this is, what helped us like do all the shipping and all the stuff, right? Bullshit. Either humans had that technology way back 10, 12, 15,000 years ago, or the ice age that we know of wasn't actually that long ago.
I think it's I think the ice age wasn't that long ago. I just saw a thing where this guy, they pulled a boot out of a river, way down, buried under in a river. Foot was fossilized with a cowboy boot on it. Not possible. But they go, well, we don't know everything about fossilization then, do we? I think we just learned ourselves a little something. Things can fossilize a lot faster when they have all of these other environmental factors forced upon them. Tons of weight, tons of sediment, tons of water, algae, all that stuff accelerates the process. So then you go, well, then how old are the dinosaurs? Because them things is buried.
What dinosaurs?
What dinosaurs? What about the chickens? What about the giant prehistoric chickens, chicken bird things that are out there?
Listen.
What about buried cities? Are they that old? About these artifacts, are they that old? You go and you go bury them under sediment, stuff happens quicker. More pressure, different O2 levels back then, different carbon dioxide levels back then. Things happen faster.
Yeah. Then you get into like mud flood shit, right? You get into like, hey man, maybe there was like a massive mud flood that buried everything under like, tens or hundreds of meters of mud, right? Liquefied earth, right? And we've talked about this before, and people think this would be crazy, but like right now we have directed energy weapons that can liquefy the earth, right? Like you can cause earthquakes, you can create weather patterns and rain and shit with technologies that we have right now since the 40s at least.
New Jersey and Texas right now.
You know what I'm saying? So like maybe there actually was like a big mud flood that just wiped everything, wiped it all. Maybe that was the last big reset, man. I'm starting to really think that those mud flood people are like really onto something. Something happened and everything got wiped. And then after that, the fucking lizard people were like, oh, let's create the new world order, right? With our science and our physics that we dictate are the laws of the universe, and we'll fucking honeypot them with Jeffrey Epstein type individuals to make sure that nobody questions this shit.
Yeah, this is the archetype or whatever the that story arc of the flood. It's the flood, and there's a giant boat that people didn't know how to use boats back then. Bull crap. That carries the people that make it through. The group of people with the they weren't underground, they were overground bunker, and they carry through several things and that knowledge, and then some guy afterward, Nimrod, he comes in and it's like, we're going back. We're going back to when it was before. We're going to build us a big old city, a big old tower. We're going to get all that technology back. We're going back. And accelerates that next reset. It's the same thing. It's that same story that just keeps happening, where something catastrophic happens and then some entity, some body just emerges from it and it's like, we're going to go back. We're going to restore, and it's going to be better than it was before. And that's when another reset happens.
And what's crazy is when you think about it that way, and then you think about like the growth of technology we've had in the last 150 years. You go back 150 years, bro, horses and buggies, you know, like there was no electricity. Well, there might have been electricity, but
There's like,
if you just take the word for these fucking schmucks, right? Like there was no electricity, you know, it was like all this shit. And just in a short period of time, 100 years, man, like literally like our grandmothers' grandmothers lived during that. Okay. And now look at us, bro. We got fucking skyscrapers made out of glass. We got fucking, you know, internet. I'm literally talking to you via light signals that are traveling through fucking cables and stuff at like fucking light speed, basically. Like all this stuff is happening so quick, bro. We got AI, all this shit. And it's just like, at what point do we hit that threshold where they're like, nah, we got to just reset everything again?
it's the arrogance of the present is this thing of like, well, we're as smart as humans have ever been, right? It's like, we did this from the Bronze Age in less than 1,000 years, 800 years. And then that's with crazy wars. That's with crazy plagues, crazy famines, all kinds of stuff. Just absolutely devastating, and also super isolated. Since we've gotten as a global community and started everybody putting their heads in on something, I mean, look at the acceleration. So just it's to think that this is the only time that we've gotten way, way, way ahead. It's just, to me, it's crazy. We're the same human.
Yeah.
Same human. And we're way more distracted now. There's nothing to distract yourself with back then. It is, you are locked. You're talking about optimizing, and these dudes that like wake up and I just rise and grind. Bro, that's ancient. All you did back then was rise and grind. You got up with the sun and you went to bed with the sun, and you probably didn't even do that. You're probably up half the night because there's predators out there. You're developing weapons. Oh, all these wars, and that's why things reset. No, things accelerate from war. Look at what happened since World War I and II. Things have accelerated. War accelerates things. There's been tons of wars. Every single time it's the more advanced guy comes in, for the most part. Either they're dialed into weaponry or they're dialed into some other thing that wins them, some kind of tactic that wins. There's no way that there was not something at some point. We had some peace for a while, and there's some collaboration that happened. There's just no way.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no
I
way.
mean, well, you don't even need the peace, like you said, man. The war accelerates things, man, and that I think that's done on purpose, right? Like you said, these people
We got to
are
go test some things out, dude.
they're accelerationists, right? They're pushing these resets to happen cyclically. So I think once it gets to a point, they're like, oh shit, we got about 100, 150 years before the next reset's supposed to happen. Maybe we should do some things to like catalyze the people to like start coming up with new shit, nuclear bombs, AI, fucking all this stuff, so that we can like get to the you know, point that we need to be at when we need to be there, right?
Yeah,
It's
I
all-
think the breakaway civilization is like a thing that happens, and I think it's almost happened more times. because there's a library at Alexandria, there's a library in like Palestine or something like that. I can't remember, somewhere over there in the Middle East that that was also destroyed. I think the Moors, no, maybe they had it or destroyed. I can't remember. But there's been hubs of knowledge that are like, we need that. That's the key to the next thing. They're taking the ancient and the modern and melding it together, and then those things get torched. It's like somewhere somebody along the way was like, you were almost there, and then some barbarians came in and smashed everything. We can't let that happen again.
Look at Göbekli Tepe, bro. Göbekli Tepe was one of those places, and that place is like 12,000 years old. Like, I think if my numbers are correct, that whole site, which they've only excavated like a very small percentage of it, it's super advanced, man, because they didn't carve images into the rock. They were reliefs. So they carved the rock around the images to create like the 3D pop out image on these megalithic stones. And then they purposely, meticulously buried the entire site like 11,000 years ago. Okay. That means that it must have been built much further back than that. And it's same type of thing. That site was agricultural knowledge, from what I understand, right? Somebody brought agricultural knowledge to Turkey, and we're like, this is how we grow food to increase population. And once you have more food and more population, it gives people time to think and invent and come up with new things, new technologies, blah, blah, blah. And 11,000 years ago, by the way, people don't realize this, the numbers are mind-boggling. People think of like ancient Egypt, ancient Sumeria. They're like, that's about as far back as civilization goes, right? That's always been like the standard timeline, right?
That's what, 3,000 years ago? It's nothing.
Right, 5,000 years ago. It's 3,000 BC. Okay, so 5,000-ish years ago, right? You had like the Sumerians and the ancient Egyptians, right? Like they were doing like crazy shit, and everybody thought that was like the birth of civilization. Göbekli Tepe was buried twice as long ago.
That's wild.
And not buried on accident. Like they've excavated, and they can tell that it was meticulously buried, carefully buried. They were bringing like small stones and pebbles and dirt and burying it carefully, not to destroy and disrupt the structures that were built there, right? Again, this just, you know, we could get into like the Sphinx enclosure and the water erosion on the Sphinx enclosure, and like the last time that it rained enough in the Nile Valley to create that kind of erosion. And then you think about like the Sphinx was actually a lion, perhaps, and where it's facing would be like the rising of the sun in Leo, in the constellation of Leo. Well, the last time that was, those two things coincided, was 30,000 years ago. Right? They'll tell us, oh, they built that shit 5,000 years ago. How cool is that, man? Fucking Pharaoh such and such built this shit 5,000 years ago. Psych!
Found
that
it
shit,
5,000 years ago.
that shit, you know what I mean? They found it 5,000 years ago. It was built at least 30,000 years ago. And then you get into like what you said, we're the same humans, right? Even if you just take the expert's word for it, we've been the same anatomically, same humans, the same brain size and everything for 250,000 years.
But that's the thing. If the dating is correct, because if this new stuff they're finding where like things calcify and fossilize a lot sooner, dude, maybe they did build it 10,000 years ago. And that's how smart we were that recently. And that's how fast it can disappear. You can just get completely nuked. No record of it. Nobody knows who built that thing. We could get to, I mean, just thinking that like you could just black out the internet, and within a generation, nobody knows what it is.
Yeah.
Nobody's seen it.
There's other sites.
If like my generation, just our kids didn't know what, like the internet just stopped working, my kids would never know what it is. They can never tell. It's too crazy to explain. You could never tell. They could never tell the grandkids, be like, yeah, there's the internet. And they'll be like, well, you could talk to people that weren't there, and you could like videos, electricity. Where was the video? How could you see yourself? They could never explain it. It's that crazy that like
Yeah.
if it just stopped working, done. So if whoever built those just got wiped, you can't explain it.
Right.
It's gone. It might as well
kids
be
might-
lore at that point.
If that happened tomorrow, your kids might kind of get it, but like you
Kind
said,
of.
when they're 80, 90 and they're like,
It's myth. It's myth.
it's myth. They're sitting around the campfire with your great grandkids, right? And they're like trying to explain that, yeah, it's just a mythology. It's just like a, you know, Grandpa tells this crazy story about these little boxes that they used
There
to
was an
hold.
autistic South African man that put funny things on a thing called X.
Yeah, yeah, and he launched fireballs into the sky, and you know,
God. Every once in a while, you can still see the lights go over.
right?
That's Musk.
Literally, I mean, that's what we've been dealing with this all of history is that.
Eh?
Yeah,
Eh.
it's freaking crazy, bro. And
It's,
you know,
like, there's a high likely chance that it's not even that old.
yeah, I mean, it's possible. I like to think that it's way older. I don't know.
Yeah,
To me, like,
that's a way cooler idea. Yeah.
it's way cooler to think that like we've been building fucking sphinxes and pyramids for 200,000 years and they just get buried by shit. Like that's cool. But you might be right. I don't know. Who knows? We'll never know. But what's
We'll never
also
know, but-
interesting, I never hear anybody talk about this. We got to deep dive into this. Ready? We talk about like these ancient sites like Göbekli Tepe. We talk about like ancient Egypt and Rome and Greece and all these types of things, right? How crazy that was. Nobody ever talks about like the Indian shit, like the ancient Vedic temples and stuff, right? Like, have you ever seen some of those temples in like
American Indian or Indian Indian?
no, like like India, right?
No.
Like, dude, just Google this real quick. Just Google. I don't even know what it's called. This is why we need to
Just
get
gonna
into
look up
this.
ancient Indian temples.
Ancient Indian temple, okay? And like, bro, the precision in the carvings and like just the amount of shit. And the thing is that some of those temples,
Whoa.
even they don't know who built them, right? Even like the priests or whatever you call them, like they don't even have like a clear story of like when, who, why some of those temples were built. Put it on the screen. Share it on the
share some
screen.
of these. Let me share some of these. I'm just Google searching, but I mean, like, look at the size of this junk, dude.
Bro, I'm telling you. And there's
Holy
some that are
moly,
like
this is all out of stone. What is this?
there's some that are like they've dug out like a whole like square complex down into the earth and then built shit like this inside of it, right? And then I've seen videos of
Like
people
the pyramids.
yeah, like I've seen people walking in there and like getting close-up shots of some of the carvings. Like there's stuff carved behind stuff. Like you couldn't even get in there to like carve it out, you know? And it's just like this is something that whether it's us or somebody needs to like really get into this shit because
Dude, look at this thing.
That one
It's
right
carved
there.
into a mountain, dude.
look at that. Blow that
How
one
do
up.
you do that?
Blow that one up. You're gonna have to like
Carved
reshare
into a
this.
single piece of rock, dude.
You're gonna have
It's
to like
nearly the
reshare the
same-
tab.
Oh, I do. Oh crap. Hold on.
Yeah, it only shares like the initial tab, not if you open a
Hold
new
on.
tab.
Hold on. Yeah, I did open it.
2025, and they can't figure that out, you know.
Don't do it. It's not a good picture, but this is carved into a single piece of rock. It's nearly the same size as the Taj Mahal. Oh my!
Look at that.
God, dude.
Look at that, bro. You're gonna tell me that some
at
dudes
mine.
like carved that out? Like, no, bro. That's Tartarian.
Oh my
shit.
God, we did such a good job with this, Angie.
That's
We're gonna carve it
Tartarian
into one
shit,
piece
bro.
of rock. Yeah,
That's
come on,
like-
dude. Again, they found this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, man. Whoa.
Nope.
Okay. Hey, look, we're
And nobody
deep
talks
diving,
about
guys.
this shit, bro. We
Nah,
talk
dude, we're
about the
deep diving,
pyramids and stuff. We talk about the Mayan pyramids and stuff, which are cool. But like, bro, that stuff
What's-
is
What's the one that's like? Is it Nepal or one of the like? Did you ever see the movie Mortal Kombat in the 90s?
the original one. So good.
The original one, right? That opening scene where he goes up to the temple, whatever, and it's like that huge temple that's shaped like a bunch of cones,
Yeah.
shaped like pine cones. What is that? Where is that? Is that Nepal? What is that?
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head.
Because there's got to be some Southeast Asian something. I wonder if those are like. I would be curious to see some dates on those.
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm saying, right? Is like there's a reason that nobody talks about this, I feel like, right? Like, you know, they'll point out the pyramids, they'll point out the Sphinx, they'll point out the Central American shit, they'll point out the melted stones in Peru, right? They'll point out all these things, but nobody's really talking about that stuff. And it makes me
Dude,
wonder,
India's got
like,
some bonkers stuff, dude. How? I mean, come on. What kind of tools?
apparently like bronze chisels and shit, right? Copper
Bronze isn't even.
tools.
Yeah, that stuff's not even that strong though.
And I'm telling you, there's images you can find of like inside some of those temples, man, and like they have like an archway that's super intricately carved, and then there'll be like a figure, like a statue figurine or something like inside this archway, and then behind it are like super intricate carvings like all around it, inside of it. It's like you couldn't even get in there, bro. Like it has to be some other tech that just got wiped away in one of the resets. It has to be. There's no way that freaking Abu just carved that shit with the copper fucking chisel. There's no way.
Yeah, it's not possible. I mean, bronze is not super strong metal. Copper certainly is not super strong. It's like you had to be in the Iron Age in order to maybe, dude.
But then you get into the symmetry of all that stuff too,
Yeah,
right?
it's like precision, dude.
And then the acoustics, which is another wild thing that nobody
my
ever
God,
talks
I bet.
about. Like
I
you
bet.
go into some of those like ancient temples, you can like face a corner. Like some of the cathedrals mimicked this, right? The big Gothic cathedrals and stuff, they mimicked this technology where you could like go stand in a corner and whisper. And you could hear me clear as day on the other side, you know, 1,000 yards away inside this thing because the acoustics were like perfect, bouncing off the sacred geometric patterns and so whatever.
With the internet, we can't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not
With
at
the
the pinnacle.
internet.
We are not
No.
at the pinnacle of
That's what
human
I'm saying,
creation.
dude. People were I mean, we're at the pinnacle of like portal tech, you know, being like this internet thing. We've poured everything into that. And maybe some other kind of like, I don't know, maybe some stuff's hidden. But the science of the earth itself and how to use all of the natural to accomplish things. It's, I mean, come on, bro. They, and some of these Irish ones, the Irish and Scottish cathedrals, they have carved the sine waves
Right.
of songs, bro.
Yep.
Huh?
And it's deeper than that. The stained glass, okay, the stained glass in some of those cathedrals, right? People have done the studies on this. They've taken like the exact hue, the color of some of those stained glass panels, like the original ones, right? You know, because the color spectrum is like infinite, right?
Yeah.
You could like people seen it like on paint or whatever. You can move the thing around the circle and it's like slightly different colors, but you see the numbers changing, right? Well, like
Yeah.
every color has a frequency. They've taken the exact hues from some of those panels in those stained glass, and it's the same thing. It matches up to like the hymns and to the sacred geometric, you know, archway that they carved there. It's like, bro, it goes so deep into that stuff.
Bro. And across the globe.
Yeah.
It's like it's in here somewhere, you know, or it was carried through somewhere. It's across the globe. The ancient Mayans and stuff, and down in Mexico, they had the same thing. They had like these big listening valleys where they have a man-made valley, and then they put their little temples and their little things up, and then you could just, I think it's called like a whispering valley or something like that. I could just speak a football field away from you, and you could hear me.
Yeah. Yeah, people, you've
And
seen
they're
those
doing it
videos.
in India, they're doing it in freaking, I'm sure up in, I mean, it's like where they weren't doing it is almost super interesting too. It's like, well, why not there? Like was Siberia doing anything like this? You know, was
just
like
haven't-
Russia,
they
does
haven't-
Russia have that kind of stuff?
They just haven't
Is it
dug
buried
deep
under
enough.
ice?
Yeah, they just haven't dug down deep enough yet.
I mean, that's Alien vs Predator, dude.
They just haven't dug down deep enough yet, bro. You know?
Is that what they used? Bro, isn't that what the pyramid blasted out? That's what the aliens were using, dude. The Predators were using direct energy weapons to make that tunnel. and down to the pyramid. Dang, I got to go rewatch that movie, bro.
Well, you saw the scans for the pyramids at Giza recently, right? Where they were showing
Yeah.
that there's like those pillars and like those structures that go down like
Yeah.
5 times farther than the height of the pyramids. They go down into the earth, right? And then I just
Use
saw
some
one like
direct energy weapons for that.
I saw like 2 weeks ago, like the same team scanned more of the Giza plateau, and those structures are under all of the pyramids, not just the one pyramid, like all of
Not the
those.
main one?
Yeah, all of them. That whole plateau is just like the top of something.
Dude, I heard years ago, years ago, that there's a theory out there that the pyramids are on stilts. That they are like a cap to a different structure. That they were on stilts. And that they were used as like these coordinate things.
Imagine that. Imagine the
Like
Great
giant
Pyramid.
beacons.
The Great Pyramid of Giza is just the capstone.
It's 7 wonders of the world. One of them is just the top of something that we can't even find.
This goes into the mud flood stuff, man. I've seen some pictures. Who knows if they're real or not? I don't know, bro. But like it was like way back when they were quote unquote building the Eiffel Tower. And there's images where you can see like the giant concrete structures that the legs of the Eiffel Tower sit on, right?
Yeah.
And like in these pictures, these are like old black and white pictures from back then, right? Or whatever. You could see that the ground was down a little bit further, like they had been digging out, and like it was the top of an archway in that concrete block that the legs of the Eiffel Tower were standing on. Like there's another structure down there.
Oh, wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Completely.
Just saying,
I
bro.
mean, you think about like all these ancient temples, like when they go like dig up Solomon's palace or dig up Nebuchadnezzar's garden. It's like, what do you mean dig? How did it get buried?
Yeah.
Palace?
Mud floods, dude.
Mud floods, dude.
Liquefy
All
the
over the
earth,
place.
man. Yeah, liquefy the earth, bro.
Man, I'm going back and I'm watching AVP tonight.
What was that?
Because now I'm remembering,
Oh,
like
Alien vs.
that's what they did. The predators would come down and they would put the xenomorph thing, and they do like the whole ritual and the whole ceremony that on the pyramids, on the ziggurats.
The
They would
more
come down
says
as the gods.
the more says the pyramids were built 400 years ago max and poured like concrete by Freemasons. I've heard that before. It's interesting.
400 years ago max. I don't know. That's a. I like the more, dude. I love that you always have like the craziest take on something.
Like such a
You just be like,
like we're going deep down the rabbit hole, and this guy just hits us left field with some like contrarian conspiracy. It's like, bro, what? I mean, I'm
one
with
for
it,
you.
bro.
I got
I'm
one
with it.
for you.
Send me
The
the
pyramids haven't even been built yet. Those are projections that have been planted into your mind of what will be there from the next civilization.
It's just a hologram, bro. Just like the planes.
Have you ever seen them with your own 2 eyes?
No, I haven't, dude. I haven't.
Pyramids are hollow.
I haven't, bro.
They've
Listen,
gut it out.
I'm for it more. Send me the info, brother. I'm
Hey, I'm down to get into anything, dude. That sounds freaking crazy. And see, again, I see. It's like whatever we say, and like times it by 10. I'd be like, maybe they weren't built that long ago. Maybe it was only 12,000 years ago. It's like 400.
damn, bro.
They were built 25 years ago. Okay, by a couple guys from Stanford.
Could be, bro. I mean, look, man. Anything's possible now, bro. With the way everything has been, like I don't know, bro. Like like I said earlier in the episode, I just, I don't know what the word is. It's like, it feels good to me to like think that all these structures were built like 100,000 years ago instead of the 3,000 years they tell me, right? Like that just seems cool. It's like I'm a sci-fi fantasy world type of guy, right? Like let me watch some Lord of the Rings. I'm all there for it, So like, of course I'm thinking like, yeah, man, there was fucking elves 100,000 years ago and the dragons, bro, and they built this shit, and then the fucking, the whatever came and fucking wiped it out, and they just told us it was, That's where I kind of always go to. But hey, man, this type of shit, just as interesting, honestly.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, that is part of the lore that we're just raised with. Is like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's like in the past they were in the future, and warp speed travel and laser swords and blasters and stuff. It's like, yeah, that's breakaway civilization stuff. So yeah, I don't know. We'll look into some stuff. I'm pumped on that, man. I'm gonna look at these ancient temples and watch Alien vs Predator tonight and see what other kind of little nuggets they drop in there.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know why, but like only my screen's pulled up on the stream now. But we're ending it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Great. They can't look at my beautiful face.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, listen,
I can.
I appreciate all you guys. The more, obviously, I appreciate you being in the chat, brother. I see you blowing it up. Tony, I see you in YouTube shouting me out. What up, Tony? Um, look, man, we're back, so we'll be here next week. Unless you want to do
Send
an
us some
extra
cool
one.
temple stuff.
If you want to do an extra one, Jeremy has been asking me if we could fire up like a couple extra episodes because he's going to be out of town for UFO days.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure that out, like trying to figure out days that I could, get with him to do a few extra ones. I don't know if you want to hop in there with us one
Yeah, let's
night
hop in
and
someday.
we could do it. So
Let me know. My last day of work at this place is Friday, and after that, I'm be off for like a couple weeks.
hell yeah, brother. Hurts too.
So let's
yeah.
fire some stuff up, dude. Let's do it. All right, guys.
All right, ladies, gentlemen,
Thanks for watching.
zimzers, they, thems, and whatever the fuck else you might identify as. We'll see you later.
The most